These 5 things disappear when you retire. The problem is most retirees really need these things to keep happening if they want to make retirement their best stage of life yet. Now, some of them are financial related and then some are non-financial, but both are key. You may have seen this image before of the ideal retirement meeting at the intersection of these 2 things. So in this video, I'm going to share what the 5 things are, why they disappear, and then practical actions on how you can actually hold on to these things to increase fulfillment in retirement. Surprisingly, the last one is something that we're told is a major benefit to retiring, but in reality, a lot of retirees realize once they get to retirement, it's a major drawback. The way that I'm going to share it in this video is first a non-financial thing, and then a financial, and then a non-financial. So I've got 5 of them. The first one's a non-financial thing, and the thing that disappears in retirement is actually the #1 challenge that people face in retirement. And this is according to a Harvard study that says the #1 challenge people face is not being able to replace the social connections that they created over the years of working. Our friends from work, they can really become kind of like family, right? Our work family. But when you retire, that daily interaction and the shared work goals, those fade away. Both the proximity and the shared goals disappear, which causes relationships to weaken as well. So in retirement, it's going to take more time and more effort to really reach out and keep those relationships going. So here's a few practical tips to think about. Really, #1 is think about those, say just the 20% of people that you really would want to keep in touch with. 20% of the people from work you'd love to keep in touch with. Let's pretend you only had 5 people that were good friends at work. Who's the one, maybe 2, that you really want to hold on to in terms of relationship? Then put a reminder once per month, either in your calendar or the reminders app on your phone, to make it a point just to reach out to them. But then this part's important. Remember, don't get upset if you're the only one that seems to be making the effort and they're not reaching back out to you, especially if they're still working, right? You've got a lot more time now and they still might be plugging away at their day job. Now, on to the second thing, which is financial related. Picture this. So you're a few years into retirement and you're feeling good, things are going well, and you decide it's finally time to move to that new place or maybe that new state, some new location, and change your home. So you go to the bank and you go to get a pre-approval letter and explore what the options are with the mortgage, and then you're shocked that you don't qualify for one because you don't have a steady stream of income anymore. Even if you have a lot of money at the bank or a lot of money in investments at the bank, those banks often prioritize steady cash flow when they're underwriting loans. And many of our clients who buy houses in retirement, they're able to pay cash, but we know that's not an option for everyone. So what can you do? There's really 2 things. Think about, as you're planning retirement now, possibly moving up the home transition goal maybe earlier in your retirement so that you can actually qualify for a loan, or at least think about it, maybe a what-if scenario. #2 is, sometimes we do this or did this in the past for clients who have been retired for years and then they're making a home transition now and they haven't been working for years, so they don't want to pay cash. So we work with the mortgage person to see what amount of cash flow is needed each month for our client, and then we actually turned on the IRA withdrawals to go to their bank to turn into actually steady cash flow. And we've done this in years past. We haven't done it in some time, but that's something to talk with the mortgage person or with your tax person or financial planner. When we did it though, it made it a lot easier for them to qualify for a mortgage at a good rate. Then after it was all complete, if they didn't need it anymore, we'd turn off the IRA withdrawal and then move along like normal. And that idea, along with anything financial, it's something to talk to your financial professionals about before trying or testing or implementing. The next one is a non-financial thing that disappears. And this is something that's really core of being a human. And I'd say it's pretty important that we don't lose this one because during our career, we developed this set of skills and we became quite proficient at our craft, most likely, right? And we use those skills to help people. To make people's lives better, whether it was making the company better or the people that we were our supervisors or bosses or whatever it is, or we were working directly with clients and patients that we were helping one-on-one. And that act of contribution to others, that's something that really brings this internal feeling of value, right? That feeling of I'm important or I'm needed. And the problem we see some people face is that when their career is over, if you haven't proactively thought about it and prepared for it, that feeling of expertise or value, that can go down, which is not a good feeling. So here are a few solutions. You might be able to use your expertise or your wisdom that you gained over the years to either consult or help people who are still in your field, maybe to help make them better. If that's not a possibility, then take time to get clear on your strengths that you have, the things that you're naturally good at. And if you don't know what they are, use the Strengths Finders quiz that you can Google and find out what they are. Then you can explore ways you might be able to use those strengths to help other people in retirement, because this is one of the keys to fulfillment in retirement. A third option is to develop new expertise or new skills that you currently don't have. This can be hard because when we're working, we're at the top of our game or the top of our field, right? And to go back to zero or to some brand new thing that we don't know how to do, it can feel like a blow to the ego. But remember, we don't need to be at the top of the game anymore. We've passed the torch on to the next crew that's taken over. Let's be humble and let's have that beginner's mind. That's actually a valuable thing to have, is the beginner's mind in retirement. If we can do that, then we'll start seeing progress. Starting from zero, it's a lot easier to see progress than if we were at 90% and trying to make improvements there. But progress and moving forward and getting just 1% better every day at something new, that's an incredible feeling to have, especially when the career's over. It's an essential feeling to have. And then very quickly, one other thing here is you can also give charitably your money or your time, right? You could find things going on in the world that break your heart, and you could find the nonprofits that are trying to do something about it and then assist those nonprofits in some way. This part, it's really about redefining our identity in retirement. It feels like a challenge, but this is an opportunity for growth. I share a lot of practical tips and stories from other retirees who have done it right on this channel. So be sure to subscribe and then hit the bell icon so you don't miss those stories coming up in the next few weeks. Now on to the next thing, which is financial related again. And this has to do with our retirement accounts. There's a habit that we've created over the last 30 years, and there's positive result that came from that habit. And that's just been the consistent saving of money, right? And the feeling of watching the retirements grow year after year, that could be a rewarding experience because it's showing you're on the right track and you're getting towards a certain goal that you want to hit. Now, the thing that disappears that most people know logically, but they might not be ready for it psychologically, is that the money in our accounts disappears over time, right? Or at least the growth slows. It's not true for everyone, but it is for many. So we have to have a mindset shift from saving to spending. And we have to remind ourselves, we built this nest egg to support these dreams, these future experiences we're going to have, and these future adventures we're going to have during this next stage of life. Financially speaking, something that can help here with this thing that disappears is identifying your minimum rate of return needed for your plan to still be successful. We often start with our clients by looking at what's the minimum or the least amount of risk needed, but still have the highest chance of success, and then we progress from there. The other solutions here is just being clear on how much you have in each bucket. You've heard of the conservative bucket, the moderate, and then growth bucket. This can really help if you can segment in that way and understand what's in each one. It can help during bad markets when the accounts are down to see, oh wow, the growth bucket, that's down 20%. But when you look at the conservative bucket, oh, that's actually up year to date. And we've got this many years of withdrawals there. That's a big help. It helps really during temporary fluctuations, and it doesn't deter us from enjoying your retirement to the fullest and continuing to use the money that you've saved. The next one is something that's disguised as a benefit of retirement, but it can very easily be a major drawback. Here's a question. Over the past 30 years, have you ever had something happen in your life that wasn't great? So you used work as sort of a distraction, or maybe work is something just to take your mind off a problem that was happening in your life. That's a normal thing. That's something that work can do. It could act as a distraction in times like that. While working, we've got a routine and we know what we're supposed to do, and work provides clarity each day, at least each work day. But when we retire, work can no longer be a distraction, and we've actually got less clarity in how we should be spending our days. And this doesn't affect everyone, but it's enough people that you should at least be aware of it. Because now that work is done in retirement, if we don't plan this out mentally, we may see these other distractions start to pop up, and we'll start to focus on those. And they can be either good distractions or bad ones. Obviously, we want more good than bad, but just for a few examples for bad distractions. And again, these aren't bad things, but it's just like anything, overindulgence in them can have a negative outcome. Some of the bad distractions we've seen are things just like alcohol usage in retirement, or maybe just more social media than we ever used to use, or maybe more TV. Or it could even be constantly checking the investment accounts now that we're retired and we're more worried about it. Examples of good distractions are ones that are adding to our life. It's things related to fitness, like our brain fitness or body fitness, or things related to faith and spirituality, or relationships that we have. Those are the good things or good distractions we can have. The important thing to take away here is that we're going to have a lot more time in retirement. So the time that we spend alone with ourselves only goes up. Have you ever seen this chart before, kind of showing the time spent alone really only increases all the way until our last days? So we just need to learn to be bored and maybe be okay with not being distracted. There's a lot that goes into this topic, and I plan to actually talk more about it in future videos, but for now, it might be more important than ever just to learn to practice on how to be alone. There's things that can help with that, like prayer can help, or meditation can help, or maybe even being ultra present. This is something that I've been doing a lot more, and this may sound out there, but this is a challenge for you. Next time you're bored, rather than going to the phone or to TV or whatever the distraction might be, try taking a minute to hyper-focus on just one thing where you are. Maybe it's looking at a plant in the background and seeing I can't remember the veins, what those are called on plants, but looking at that more closely than you ever have before. Or maybe it's looking at the texture of the lampshade more closely than you ever have before, or the feeling of pavement as you're taking a walk outside, because being hyper-focused on one thing near us, that actually increases our enjoyment of the present moment. I want you to give it a try and see if something changes as you're doing this. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Now, one thing I found is that many retirees and pre-retirees, they're getting told lies by either big companies or media or just the general culture as it relates to retirement. So I made this video for you, the 3 lies here. And then also, if you're looking for more, a way to organize more of the financial side of retirement, here's a video on 7 accounts that we need. And also, if your advisor is only helping you with investments and is not helping with tax planning or strategic withdrawal strategies, reach out to me or go to our website for a free planning session so you can start to talk about those things more. And then I'll see you in the next video.